a frieze of this statue here. I'll zoom out to show you where I'm at. Now get used to statues everywhere. We are in Paris after all. Standing here in the Parc du Champs de Mars. Get used to my inventive pronunciation too. I am American after all. And another thing, I've only got a weekend here and only one day to shoot this. Le weekend, as the French would say. Really, that was a phrase in the vocabulary till the thought police cracked down on English and Americanisms that were creeping into the language here. So what can I show you in a day? Well, we'll start here. This park stretches all the way to the Tour Eiffel in the distance there. The Eiffel Tower, as we know it, was built as a temporary structure by Gustave of the same name. Gustave Tower. No, are you listening? Gustave Eiffel, or Eiffel as we know him. Quick pan to the right here shows some of the hordes of tourists that will descend upon the scene as the day progresses. Can't be avoided. We have met the enemy and they are us. Art shop. Okay, let's get down to business. Let's shoot this tower. Well, there it is, all 1,051 feet of pig iron arranged in a most pleasing way. And here we are waiting to ascend the pig iron tower. Waiting in line with the other patient thrill seekers. It's pretty imposing from down here, actually. Let's sneak a peek at our fellow travelers today, see if I can grab a shot here. All right, we're on our way. Walk, you say? No way, say I. 1,652 steps. I'll wait in line for the elevator any day, thanks. I don't know if this shot of the supporting girders is supposed to reassure or frighten, but it really shows what the tower is made of. All right, our first vista coming up. God, this is a great shot. Look at that. Being pulled up by cable and pulley as the city stretches out beneath our feet. Whoa. This is very cool. Okay, this is what we came for. Vistas. Ah, Paris. City of legend and song. City of love. City of light, as the French would call it. Imagine what this view did for the people's heads over 100 years ago when it was built. Built for the Universal Exhibition of 1889. There's a good shot right there. I spy another site that I hope to visit today over there in the jumble that is Paris. See if I can get a closer shot. Closer still. Okay, there it is. The Arc de Triomphe. See if I can freeze it for you there. I love views from above. Makes me feel somehow above it all. Look at the symmetry here. Beautiful, just beautiful. And zoom in for a little closer look. And freeze it. Ah. Hey, look, French ants playing soccer or football. Along, zoom out, and a pan across the river. C'est magnifique. More elevator. You ain't seen nothing yet, folks. We're going higher still. As we huff and puff our way up to the final stairs. Uh-oh. Looks like someone's had a bad day already. Oh, poor kid. Oh well. Let's see what we got here. See if we can cut through the crowd. Let's see if I can find a spot here somewhere. Okay. I'll zoom in, see if I can slide in here. Somewhere on the right. Okay, here we go. Whoa, look at that. The view changes dramatically when you get a little higher. Whoa, even better view of the ant farm. Look at that. They're getting ready to try the back pass dilemma with no hands either. Let's see if I can grab another shot somewhere here. Wend my way through the crowd. Oh, not a bad shot, I'd say. Let's see if I can zoom in a little here. Wow, this is cool. One of the many bridges over the River Seine. The art critics of Paris hated this tower when it was first built. One of them wouldn't even walk where he could see it in his view. God, not me. Look at that. I'd buy a ticket, which of course I just did. Stand up here as one of the 800 who can fit here on the highest level at one time. I'll zoom out to a wide shot here. These huge pulleys are original equipment, over 110 years old. Okay, enough of Gustave's now famous tower, now recognized as the supreme symbol of Paris right around the world. And for a variety of prices, you can buy a little reminder of the world's tallest building. Till 1931, that is, when the Empire State was built. Should I get one? Nah, too tacky. Maybe I should. Nah, too tacky. And this is one of the anchors of the whole shebang. I don't know, a little crumbly on the edges there, I must say. Well, I'm glad I've been up it already. But what a sky-piercing structure from this angle. Okay, I think we spent enough time here at the tower. Let's head for the Arc de Triomphe eventually and see what we can see along the way. And I think it's about time for a montage. That's French, you know. Here's a shot of the Pantheon, modeled after the Pantheon in Rome. It doesn't look too much like it, though. It looks more like the Capitol building in D.C. Well, it is raining, but who cares? We're in Paris, eh? Even in the rain, Paris is just fine. I'll zoom into the street sign here. Shall we mail a letter or go to school? One of the greatest British exports ever, the Austin Mini, looking quite at home here on the streets of Paris. And if I can just pan a little to the left here, I'll give you a peek at what has got to be one of the coolest aerobics locations ever. Physically fit in Paris in the rain. Ah, the Seine. The Seine. What can I say about the Seine? It isn't being said by tour guides on heavily laden tourist boats. Not much, I guess. Yeah, more than a few hardy souls braving the elements on the top deck there. Speaking of boats, here's a good location for some Beaujolais or Burgundy or Champagne, if you can afford the real thing. Hello, what's for dessert? Hello. How about a nice slice of Notre Dame on the Ile de la whatever, that little island where first settled the Parisi tribe, the early inhabitants of Paris when the Romans got here and took over as usual. In all its Gothic splendor, flying buttresses and all. Iron metro entrances, the metro being the Parisian subway. Okay, we're in for a treat now. We'll ignore the rain completely, or even use it to our advantage to color the scene here, to saturate our colors as we climb this steep hill to Montmartre. Let's see if I can find a shot down the street here. I'll zoom in for you. Okay, the top of the hill there is Montmartre. Okay, maybe a little closer. Just a little bit. Okay, that's better. That's what we'll be climbing. Pause briefly here to drink in this street scene. And the reverse angle shows us on the foot of the hill with a very lonely carousel in the rain down in the bottom corner there. I'll pan over there to you. Nothing sadder than a carousel in the rain. Okay, I'm gonna look up to the top of the hill now where sits Sacré-Cœur. I love saying that name. Sacré-Cœur, the Sacred Heart of Christ, begun in the 1870s but not finished till 1914. On top of the hill now in Montmartre. Montmartre used to be a village away from Greater Paris, but the city has grown to encompass it and embrace the many tourists which ply its streets. This place was known to artists, writers, poets, all the usual suspects. And by the end of the 1800s, they're all gone now, but it's still a very charming place, even in the rain. Montmartre, the Mount of the Martyrs, tortured here in 250 AD. So much of human history measured in atrocity and commemorated with postcards. Okay, enough, Chuck. They're pretty postcards of Lautrec and the Moulin Rouge. Words fail. Actually, I wish I were on that caterpillar right about now. I'm okay. It's just a little sprinkle. All we need is Gene Kelly singing and dancing in this delightful Parisian rain. Here comes another Mini, wending its way through the tortuous streets. All right, splash of open road, go for it. And here's the French version of a little car, the 2CV, de Chevaux. Okay, I'm going to do a little cinema verite now, direct cinema as we said in the 60s. No talking, just ambient sound and images dripping with charm. And a little rain.
Oh, quel est... Allez. You have the place again?
Aber hey, Reis verhandeln.
Voilà.
Hey, hey, get out of my shot. Why, I oughta... You know you're watching one of my travelogues when a truck can intrude on the scene like this one. No cutting here. We find it as we take it as we find it. You want sterilized? Go rent a Rick Steves. Okay. Okay, much better. Merci. Now we're back to the shot I need. Zoom in here and catch the action. Hope it was worth the wait. Not bad.
Sucre beurre, sucre citron, du sucre grand marnier. Très bien. C'est beurre franc, je crois. Grand marnier, regardez, en bas. Une grand marnier. Elle pas assez bien servie. Pas une boule. Non, non, c'est bien servi. C'est du... La synthétique ou solitaire. C'est du citron. Alors, citron, et grand marnier. Alors, je pense qu'il y a la bonne.
Get out of my cobblestone frame, you miserable multi-pad scoot. Okay, time for another montage. Music up, if you please. And cut the rain machine while you're at it, would you please? Merci. That's how you're supposed to say it here. Merci. The French are making a real effort to counter the rudeness they're so good at. So they'll wave at you every now and then to make up for it. Hey, works for me. The Arc de Triomphe was completed in 1836. Let's see if I get a shot of the surrounding town for you here. Took him 30 years because the guy who planned it, Napoleon Bonaparte, went and got himself deposed in between. One of the best views in Paris for my money. It was built as a victory in war monument, and parades and stuff often begin from this spot, which is convenient because 12, count them, 12 avenues radiate from the Arc de Triomphe. I'll zoom in here for Sacré-Cœur, the church in Montmartre where we just were. And freeze it there. Eiffel Tower looking great in the distance. I'll zoom in for a tighter shot. Picture postcard. Now check this out. Those 12 avenues all converge into one huge roundabout, and it just all melds together with pure chaos. Is that a French word, chaos? No, that's Greek, I think. Anyway, it should be. Look at this. God. I'd hate to be on foot trying to cross through there. Okay, I'll zoom in for more of this close action here. Look at this. Maybe this is why you never see a car in Paris without dented bodywork at one time or another. They almost pass through this place. God. Look at that. There's a guy on foot there. There's a motorbike as well. But all this vehicular aggro must be worth it, because that avenue down there is the Champs-Élysées. Gridlock. This is wild. Drive in Paris? Oh, sure. We've driven in London. Yeah, no problem. I think I'd rather drive in Venice than Paris. There it is. The Champs-Élysées. And this is what it looks like from street level. The tomb of France's unknown soldier is here at the base of the arch, unknown from the horrors and mass carnage of World War I. Rest in peace. This guy has got to be the friendliest Frenchman ever. Must be from the provinces. Salute, mon frère. McDonald's, ah yes, American cultural infestation. The French hate it, they really do. But you can't keep a good idea under a basket. So, le Big Mac, pommes frites, a Coca-Cola s'il vous plaît, and step on it. The Champs-Élysées, Paris's widest, grandest, trendiest avenue. Along this street we have five-star hotels, luxury restaurants, and fancy shops, as well as cafes and cinemas too, not to mention McDonald's. And what's behind these gates? Who knows? Some embassy or hotelier's dream, no doubt. And along the banks of the Seine, the ever-present postcard hoardings. I think the French invented the postcard. They certainly know how to sell them. Let's just stand here for a moment and drink in some more atmosphere. Those pigeons made me hungry. Hangry? No, hungry. I'm hungry for some food. Where's McDonald's when you need it? Hey, this'll do. Yeah, this'll do just fine. Yeah, this'll do quite nicely, thank you. Ah, Paris. So civilized, so urbane, so expensive. Can't wait to get the bill. I know I'm paying for all this. Check this out. Oh well, sometimes you just gotta bite it and bite it. Bite the baguette. Pretty cool though. Shakespeare and Company, the great little bookshop just across from Notre Dame at the beginning of the Latin Quarter here. Lots of stories about this place. Great woman who owned it, whose name escapes me. Probably couldn't pronounce it anyway. She published the great novel, oh God, whose name escapes me. Was it Ulysses? Yeah, Joyce's Ulysses, I think. She published Ulysses in France when nobody else would, and she also refused to sell a book to a Nazi officer once during the occupation and moved all the books out overnight in lieu of his inevitable reprisal. Just stacked chock-a-block all over the place. Jean-Paul Sartre and what's her name? Simone de Beauvoir. Was that it? Is that who it was? Yeah. Those two would hang here and BS about life and love and all the rest of it. Who's this guy? Is that Walt Whitman's grandson who now owns this place? Could be. Shakespeare and Company. Great name. Great shop. Which brings us to the Latin Quarter. Let's just float through the frame here and smell the sights.
Voilà, regarde un peu comme ça. C'est la même chose, c'est la même photo.
Speaking of smelling the sights, the new toilets have largely replaced the old pissoirs in Paris, where you could see the legs of the men as they stood pissoiring. Let's take a coin right here. Oh, get in there. Okay, let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. Okay. Well. Did you get all that? Good. Great. What a pisser. In 1840, a British guy named Richard Wallace put 50 of these beautiful water fountains in the poor areas of Paris. His generosity and kindness live on today, as many of them survive. Check out the work on these details here. Great cobblestones leading to some peace and quiet here. The Cimetière du Père Lachaise, the cemetery of Father Lachaise, the guy who used to own this land. Many famous people are buried here, all dead, many seemingly ruefully sorry to be so dead. So poignant is the atmosphere here. Boy, what an evocative place the cemetery is. Cimetière du Père-Lachaise. Some of you may recall my sequence from Highgate Cemetery in London a few travelogues ago. But this one is equally evocative, I think. Very many famous people buried there, as I said in the video. Chopin, Marcel Proust, the memory of whom is as fleeting, alas, as the years. Edith Piaf, the Little Sparrow. Oscar Wilde, the the big sparrow, the aspic-tongued sparrow. Molière, Sarah Bernhardt, who once played Hamlet, by the way. Isadora Duncan, who once danced Hamlet, I'm sure. She danced them all. Balzac, who some French would say wrote Hamlet. So is their, such as their idolatry. Simone Signoret and Yves Montand, the great lovers on screen and off. And Jim Morrison. Yes, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't have time to find his grave. I apologize. Perhaps another time. Ah, yes. Sitting in an outdoor cafe, watching the world go by. Sipping my $7 cup of cappuccino. Worth every penny, every franc. Franc, worth every franc. Getting tired, been chewing up the scenery today. Speaking of chewing up the scenery, speaking of chewing, here's a sad sight. A soggy piece of French bread lying in the gutter, baked today, no doubt, and most assuredly not part of a hoagie or a hero or a sub or even French bread pizza. Baguette, maybe. Right now, we could be in London, Berlin, Tokyo, San Francisco. Ah, yes, you can see this sight the world over, the passive ennui of a subway ride. There's a moving sign for Tom What's-His-Name's new film. The Real Blonde is the American title. Don't forget, for all of its charm, Paris is a huge city. It's easy to get caught up in the noise and intense energy of the place. It's easy to go home with a headache. But in Paris, when you're at your worst for wear, you need only lift up your eyes for heavenly inspiration. Or walk a few streets over to a quieter part of the city. Surprisingly, Paris isn't huge like London or New York or Tokyo. Only 2 million French people call Paris home, although the larger region, called the Ile-de-France, numbers some 10 million people. Central Paris can be divided into about a dozen distinct areas. We've only seen but a few today. For one lousy day in Paris, we've barely scratched the surface of the place. Not to mention its rich and complicated history and the numerous architectural facets, the social makeup, etc., etc. What I have done, I hope, is to give you the feeling of the place. What you would have seen and heard if you had been wandering around like I've been, rather aimlessly, senses strung tight, ready to be played upon by sights and sounds. Pity I couldn't bring you the smells. Nothing like freshly baked French bread wafting through the streets of the Latin Quarter. Sacré-Cœur again. Had to make my way back to Montmartre to let the night fold around me. Zoom in for a closer look. One of the most beautiful churches in the world, finished in 1914. Oh boy, hot crepes. I'm having ham and cheese on my crepe. It's about all I can afford in Paris. No bistro, no nouvelle cuisine. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm in Paris, and my crepe is almost ready. Sitting on the side steps of Sacré-Cœur, and the evening's turning blue. And all's well with the world. Pretty much winding down now. About time for another montage. Quiet in Montmartre. Let's just listen for a while. night has fallen in Montmartre. In the 60s, I used to watch lots of French films by Claude Lelouch, Francois Truffaut, Eric Romer, with names like Ma Nuit chez Maud, My Night at Maud's, Claire's Knee, Jules and Jim, Man and Woman, etc., etc. Shots like this, by the so-called New Wave directors, evoked a Paris that took a couple of decades to materialize for me in person. But we're here now, you and me, and Jean-Pierre Léaud, and Anouk Aimée. Not Godard, though, too pretentious, even for a Parisian. And now we're almost at the end of our precious day in the City of Light. This guy seems to be feeling much the same as our fields of view bisect each other yet again. Paris by night is not to be missed. I don't care if you've got tickets to the Opera or Moulin Rouge, skip it. Walk to the top of Montmartre for a view of Eiffel's Tower. Or better yet, take the tower elevator for a breathtaking view of the entire city. And if you got a few extra bucks left in your pocket, snuggle into one of these cozy eateries promising a little romance with your French cuisine. And even under scaffolding, Notre Dame looks, well, it looks all that it should in this light. And the two of them together, Notre Dame on the Seine, well, make up your own caption. Apogee of light, river of time, night in the city. Yeah, getting late. I'm really tired, but I can't bring myself to go in while Paris at night is all around me. But I'm fading fast, folks. Can't last much longer. One more peek into Shakespeare and Company on the way back to my hotel. This place is a testament to quiet sanity in a loud and crazy world. That it even exists today still, despite its colorful and unlikely history, is truly amazing.
Sylvia Beach was the original owner of this shop. She's the lady whose name I was trying to think of. But this is George Whitman, the current owner, who allows anyone who's a writer and can prove it to sleep overnight in the shop for free. They help out in the shop during the day, and at night they lay out their sleeping bag in whatever nook and cranny on whatever bench they can find and sleep for free. Here he's dealing with a used book trying to sell A Perfect Stranger to a perfect stranger. That was a Camus joke.
The Latin quarters are pretty quiet now. Almost time for bed. Paris is like many great, huge cities, unsurpassed delights in art and architecture, in cuisine and culture, all jumbled together in an insane cocktail of traffic and noise and pollution and thievery and skullduggery. But when it all comes together at once, when the desired elements come to the fore and obscure the seamy side, it's magic, the kind that happens only in books or movies, or sometimes, if conditions are just right, in travelogues too. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. See ya.